Well, good afternoon. It's the 17th of March. It's Tuesday afternoon, and I'm recording this message partly as an experiment, as I'm sure many of you will appreciate. The coronavirus situation is a fast moving one, and every day it feels as if we're all trying to process and make sense of the latest news and work out how this is going to impact our daily lives and also the life of our church. And I'm mindful that this is new and uncharted territory for all of us. I'd ask that you would bear with us as we try and work out next steps and how best we're going to support each other through what I realize is going to be a long period of disruption and isolation for many of us. This is one of these moments when I realize we might all feel a bit powerless, actually, in the face of the huge changes we are facing. And maybe we feel as if there is nothing we can do. But there are things we can do. First and foremost, we can pray. And I want you to know that you are in my prayers and those of the ministry team and the deacons. I am praying for all of us as a church, and especially for those of you for whom this is a particularly worrying time, because you are anxious about the prospect of being on your own. You are concerned for a loved one with an underlying health condition, or you are wondering what the financial impact of this will be on you or your business. And I'm also praying about how God is going to work through his church, through us, in the uncertain times we're now entering into. What is it going to look like for us to be salt and light? How can we live in ways which model hope and model love and show service to those around us? Now, by now, most of you will have heard the news that church isn't going to be meeting on Sundays for the foreseeable future. But we hope that we can continue to communicate with you in other ways, including through messages like this one. Over the last few months, we've been spending time as a church studying the Gospel of Luke. We've been going through those reflections on turning the world upside down. And I've been thinking today about a passage from Luke which seemed especially relevant to me as I was pondering the question of where Jesus is in all of this, in everything which is going on around us. And maybe I can offer one suggestion. I think Jesus is on the road. Now, that might seem like a strange statement, but maybe I can explain it to you. Near the end of chapter 9 of Luke, in verse 51, this is what we read, that as the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. And it's worth thinking for a moment about that word resolutely. Think of all the sense of determination it implies. And actually, the next 10 or so chapters of Luke, all the way through to chapter 19, are often spoken of as the travel narrative. All of the events which are being described there take place as Jesus is on the road and he is heading towards Jerusalem. When you read the gospel, you have a feeling that there is almost a gravitational pull of Jesus towards Jerusalem. There is a certain inevitability that this story is not going to end without pain, and it can only end in one place. And that also comes across in words which we read near the end of Luke chapter 13. And listen to what Jesus says there in verse 33. In any case, he says, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. And I've been thinking a lot about those words as we get closer to the events of Palm Sunday and then Holy Week and Easter. Where is Jesus? And as I said earlier, I think Jesus is on the road and he knows the cost. He knows that when he gets to Jerusalem, he faces pain and suffering, which we can barely begin to comprehend. But still he goes. Still he finds himself drawn to the city. Why is it so? in spite of the rejection he is going to face. Perhaps we find an answer in the next verse, in verse 34, where he says this: Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, how often I have longed to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing. This is a passage where there is so much going on. And over the whole scene, there is a sense of the foreboding inevitability of the death of Jesus. And yet, at the same time, we read of his deep, deep love, his compassion, his desire to draw people to himself and comfort them and to offer to them the holy overshadowing that we so often sing of in Selsdon Baptist Church. So as we enter this time, which feels so uncertain, can I point you again to our Saviour Jesus? Jesus, who does not walk in the opposite direction when suffering and sorrow are coming into view, but Jesus who knowingly moves towards the city, who knowingly moves towards his cross. We have a Saviour who helps us, and he doesn't do it from a distance. He does it by entering into the mess and the struggle, and who has promised, "I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." So the lockdown is coming close, but Easter is coming close as well. And where is Jesus? He is with us. He is near. He is on the road, and he is walking towards his place of hardship, which will also become the means of our being saved. And as I said before, I am praying for all of you that you feel a sense that he is walking towards you as well and alongside you through everything we now face. So perhaps I can finish this reflection with a blessing. I pray that in the coming days, you who you know and love, and all of the neighbours who you will seek to love and serve, will know a peace in the face of headlines that cause us to fear, a provision when it seems that stocks might run low, a protection that means the worst things you imagine will not come to pass. Pray you will know that Jesus is walking towards you and walking with you. Amen.